Do you remember the good old days when you were a kid, doing nothing particular with your life and just play video games? Yes, those were truly marvelous days. So I ended up thinking to myself, hey, why don't I make a countdown about the 10 games that I played and meant the most to me as a kid? But before we start, let's throw out some rules, shall we? 1 game per franchise. Only games I played from the date of my birth to 13 counts. And that's pretty much it. With that said, I'm Magnishen, and this is my top 10 childhood video games. Honestly, we can't just sit here and talk about games from our childhood without at least mentioning Mega Man, right? But which one of all the glorious games? Usually it comes down to 2 or 3, and I have to say for me, it's 3. Mega Man 3 were actually my first video game ever, and the moment I came to the selection screen and I saw all these badasses, well, except for Top Man. What are you looking at, you son of a... Yes, as I was saying, the moment I came to the selection screen and I saw all these badasses, my mind was blown. And yeah, I had a pretty good time, nothing too difficult, when suddenly I reached the Robot Master that has clearly ascended from hell, Needle Man. My god! Yamano! Why are you doing this to me? Why? Yeah, sure, I get you. Nowadays, the FPS drops and constant flickering can really get on your nerves, but it has a special place in my heart. Say what you will about this game, I still love it. It introduced me to what used to be my favorite franchise of all time. But sadly, something, just kinda came along and changed my opinion. But hey, enough about that sad shit. And let's praise Final Fantasy VII. Even though English is not my native language, Final Fantasy VII had something magical about it that drew me in. I loved the characters and still do, of course. Cloud were the coolest dude ever! I love the battle and materia system to this day, and you can't praise a Final Fantasy game of the early days without complimenting the music. Nobuo Uematsu, you handsome bastard. Sadly, there's a problem in this glorious blast to the past. To this day, I have not finished Final Fantasy VII. Why? Well, from the age of 9 to 13, I tried to complete it a little now and then, but our memory card was somewhat damaged, so you have to be very careful with it. And having younger siblings in a situation like that can be quite troublesome. My little sister somehow always managed to corrupt my save data every time I reached this 3-4 times in a row! God damn her! The Super Nintendo is to this day my favorite console. Sadly, in my younger days I didn't have that much access to it since it were located at our summer house back then. But whenever I had the opportunity, I popped in Donkey Kong Country. Why not the second game, you might ask? Well, for some weird reason we just had 1 and 3. That was the case with Mega Man as well, but Mega Man 1 is for some reason lost in space, so here you go. I preferred 1 over 3, but I think it's because the first game left such an impression on me. I were amazed with everything about it, and for quite some time, a gorilla in a tie was my favorite video game character. Thankfully, I just got the Super Nintendo home with a pretty sweet library to start with, and I can assure you that I will play Donkey Kong Country until the day the cartridge explodes. Well, how about that? I'm a dude that absolutely loves fighting games. While not being the best at them, it's easily my favorite genre. But that were sadly not the case for the majority of my friends. Instead of trying their hardest to throw up Hadouken! As oneself did, they pretty much just said, meh, what a crappy game. But then, Tekken came. And Tekken 3 in particular? Oh boy! Don't get me wrong, you can easily tell the difference of a pro Tekken player and a button mashing scrub lord, but it's how the command lists were designed that made it so easy for my friends that went meh to go yay and do some sweet looking moves. Tekken 3 were easily the most played multiplayer game in all households on the PlayStation, and hey, nothing beats the one sound effect to rule them all.
Chicken.
What's so great about it? I don't know, it's just the greatest. Here's to hoping that Tekken 7 can bring people back together just like the Tekken 3 days. Mario Kart 64. Oh, how I love you! I played this game with my family/relatives and friends all the time, and we all had our own character that we always played. I played Donkey Kong, Grandpa played Luigi, my brother played Bowser, my grandpa played Wario? This was actually the first time I ever saw Wario. My dad played Mario, and my mom and my youngest uncle played Yoshi and Toad. You cheating bastards! The courses in this game are so memorable. The glorious Nintendo tease at Luigi's Raceway, the fun shortcuts here and there. And who can forget Battle Mode? I just don't get it, Nintendo. Why would you want to change this into this? Call me when you have a logical reason as to why. Thanks. And here's a game I bet none of you saw coming. You know, when me and my bro were little, we barely cared for our PC. But oh lord, that soon changed as our youngest uncle visited us and said, "Hey, ever played this game?" With just a small glimpse at the box, we were so excited, and we popped the sucker in, and once we started playing, well, let's just say that there was a lot of fighting whenever we got home of whose turn it was to sit at the PC. I still play this game every now and then with my friends, and I pretty much bet that we will play this game until the end of time. Did you honestly think that this would be a list without Pokemon? Nah dude, I'm sorry if I let you down, but here's what might be surprising though. I preferred and still do prefer Gen 2 over Gen 1. I think what really made me like Gen 2 more than Gen 1 was the fact that the kids in school and my friends took Pokemon to a whole new level of seriousness. And being a lucky kid that we're one of not many to have a link cable, I battled people all the freaking time in the schoolyard during breaks. There is just so much more content in Gen 2. Meeting Red Gyarados for the first time, having the Kanto region in as post-game, fighting the character that you played in the first game atop of a freaking mountain. Oh my days, I just got a nostalgia boner by just thinking about it. You see this dude on your screen? He's totally the reason why I even wanted a PlayStation as a kid. But it's not the first or the second game that makes it into the list. It's actually the third game. What is there not to love about Crash? I love that they used the time travel setting because it opened up to so much diversity in both gameplay and environment. The boss battles are all fucking great, even though that son of a bitch engine destroyed me over and over and over again as a child. The amount of satisfaction I got from beating him was freaking amazing. Yeah, that's right fucker, die in space! I think that you, as a viewer, have figured out that I really love Nintendo games, so what could possibly number one?
Super Smash Brothers Melee!
Super fucking Smash Bros. Melee. This game was my everything back in the day. I did play Smash 64 a lot as well, but it's nowhere near to the amount I played Melee. The characters, all the modes, the gameplay. Yes, I prefer the fast and aggressive playstyle from Melee rather than what we have today. No hate on Smash 4, I love that game. Melee was and still is something truly magical. Talking with your friends in school and knowing that the son of a bitch bags just unlocked Ganondorf and you had no fucking idea how he did it. Being a kid that just wanted to collect trophies, I never played on any harder setting than easy, so even 51 was the first time me and my friends saw Giga Bowser. So 1 minute, you are the greatest. The next, everyone runs home, because they knew that the chance to win in clearing event matches first were still a thing. There's so much to say about Melee, but I don't want to waste your time. This game is, as said, something truly magical. I really hope you experienced it in your childhood as well. Hey you, thanks for watching. If you liked what you saw, then go ahead and subscribe, as there is more to come. And if you just can't wait until the next video, then go ahead and click on the video to your left for some awesome tournament videos. Or you could click on the video to your right and watch as me and my friends duke it out in Smash Bros. for Wii U.